Let's take a look at the chart for Bitcoin. Okay, so here's what I was looking at in my last video. We had this little downtrend right here. We came up, we found a little bit of resistance, and we started heading down. I was watching this downtrend, and I was saying until we break this downtrend going to the upside, I'm going to look for a low or where we're going to bounce at pretty much. And I was saying hopefully we could bounce above this level right here. I was kind of looking at the top of this W over here. We didn't come down quite to that W top, but we got that bounce. So basically what I'm looking at now is we got this low right here, we got a low right here, we got a high right here, and we got a high right here. We're getting higher highs and we're getting higher lows. So I think the next thing what I'm looking at is we can delete this trend line right here, and I think we're looking at the previous resistance right over here, the previous top should I say. This is sitting at 51.7k, 51.8k, somewhere around there. In general, let's switch over the daily time frame because it looks like we're trending up. So let's jump up to a bigger time frame. The thing I'm looking at, let's do a horizontal line at this resistance level right here pretty much. Let's do a red line right here, and it looks like we're approaching it it looks like we're pretty much right there now. What I'm looking at are the bodies on the daily, and then I guess you can argue that let's do another horizontal red line at the top of this wick right here. So I think we just broke the first one. Let's see what happens when we come up to the next one. I think the other main thing, the reason I wanted to switch over the daily is because we have this resistance right here, and we have this trend line going down right now. And until we break this trend line going to the upside, I'm kind of curious if it's going to give us resistance and reject it. But right now it looks like we're coming in to test it. So I guess the big question is, are we going to break out of this resistance zone right here and break this trend line going to the upside? If we do, I think the next area we can target are these, like this zone pretty much right here. We had a top right here and a bottom right here. We're kind of, I don't know, it's possible that there's like a zone like this. I think this would be the top. The top would be something like 60,300 approximately. So yeah, let's see if we could break this trend line going to the upside. It looks like we got some pretty good momentum right now. The other thing I'm looking at is, like I was saying, we have those two bottoms right here. We have a bottom right here and we have a bottom right here. Let's use that as a trend line. Let's switch back to the 4-hour time frame. We can get a better look on this. We have a trend line, something like this. So until we break this trend line going to the downside, then I'm assuming that it's going to push us up, or at least we're pushing up into this resistance, this bigger resistance level in general. Like I said, let's see what happens if we could come up to here at 51.8k and see if we could break through that level right there. If not, I mean, we might have to kind of bounce around in here, but I'm just kind of thinking, I'm hoping that we could bounce out right here and then start targeting the next target zone or the next resistance zone up here. If we switch over to Ethereum to Bitcoin, I thought this chart looked pretty interesting too. We've been watching this. We have an uptrend like this, and as long as this trend is going up, that's good for Ethereum. But if this trend breaks, that's going to be good for Bitcoin, and maybe some of that Ethereum money will be going into Bitcoin. Right now, it does look like, in my last video I talked about, we have this resistance, we're trending down. It looks like we're testing that support right now, and it looks like we're breaking down. I'm not sure how far it's going to go or how far it's going to trend down. And we've got some red candles. They're not big red candles, so it's not a huge move, but we are kind of trending down. And I guess what we could do is drag this trend line out, something like this, and until we break this trend line going to the upside, then it looks like we're trending down. Let's actually delete this one right now because we are getting some resistance, but we do have some support right here. We do have support right here and support right here. Let's do another trend line, maybe a support line, something like this. So I mean, it does look like we're coming into contact right now. Let's see if we hold right there and see if it breaks up or down. If we continue this downtrend, if we break up right here, then I'll be looking at these previous resistance levels. But in general, it kind of looks like we might be heading down, which is good for Bitcoin. In general, like I say, if this chart is heading down, then it's good for Bitcoin. If it's chart moving up, then it's good for Ethereum. We've been moving up with Ethereum for a while. I mean, goes back to October, 16th, 17th, somewhere around there. Ever since then, we've been kind of moving up steadily, like nice and steadily. Maybe it just needs a little correction. Maybe we'll come down to this level right here and then start going back up. Or, I mean, I'm not sure. But I'm just using this as a signal. I'm showing you guys that we had an uptrend like this and we're slightly breaking it. Let's see if we even close below this. So this is a daily time frame. We're only like one candle in to this break. I mean, we were testing it for the last couple days, but we just broke it. One candle in. Let's see what happens on the next candles, if we're still pushing down or if this is holding support right here and we start pushing back up or what. But yeah, like I said, we also have this trend line going down right here. And I think that's the main thing that I'm probably watching for a signal that Ethereum might be starting to push back to the upside, or starting to take control, should I say, or maybe outperform Bitcoin. Right now, as big as if this chart is trending down, that means that it's good to be paying attention to Bitcoin. As long as this chart is trending down, it's outperforming Ethereum, should I say. If we jump over to the total crypto market cap, here's what I'm looking at. So we're on the daily time frame, and there's a couple different ways we could look at this. Right now, I'm on the daily, and we have these candles: resistance, resistance, support, support, and it looks like we're clearly breaking that trend line right here. We are still one candle in. We still need to like close this candle and maybe get another candle, green candle, to confirm this, but this does look pretty good right now. The other thing I was looking at though is if we switch over to the 4-hour time frame, we can kind of adjust these trend lines a little bit, and this is another way I was kind of watching it, and we're kind of testing it. We broke above it, we're wicking above it right now, but we haven't really broke above it completely yet. We are breaking this 180 moving average, which I do really like. I think I talked about that in my last video, that on the 4-hour time frame we have this 180 moving average right here. When we broke below it, that's when we started trending down. Right now it looks like we're breaking above it. So in my opinion, this looks pretty good. What I really want to see us do is break above this trend line on the 4-hour time frame. I think that's going to be a good signal just in general. I mean, right now it looks like we're hitting a target too. What the other thing I was watching is we had a triangle pattern, something like this. We were bouncing in between this top and this bottom. We had a triangle pattern like this. What I was doing is dragging from the top to the bottom of this triangle right here, I guess, and dragging it to the breakout, and it looks like we pretty much are hitting that target right now. So I don't know. I'm kind of curious if we're going to get rejected right now or if we're going to continue on with this thing. Like I said, we did break that 180 moving average on the 4 hours, so that's good. Maybe what we have to do is come down and retest it right now. Maybe how much more time? We have 1 hour and 15 minutes on this 4-hour candle. Let's switch over to the 1 hour just to see what this kind of looks like. So yeah, I mean, it does kind of look like we're getting resistance right on that line. Let's see what happens if we could break through it, should I say. This is a total crypto market cap. So in general, if this chart can break right here, let's kind of delete some of this stuff that we're looking at. Let's delete this triangle pattern right here. We get a better look, kind of clear perspective. Okay, so in general, I think if we could break this level going to the upside, if we could break this trend line going to the upside, this is going to be a good signal, a very good signal, that we'll be probably coming in to test these previous resistance levels at least. And we could maybe do a trend line with this support, this support, this support, and this support. Let's draw a trend line. We could actually probably do a couple. We have one right here, and then we have another one going up like something like this, and we could probably drag that up until we break that. So until we break this trend line going to the downside, then I'm assuming that it's going to give us some support. Let's see how long we can hold support on this trend line and see how long it'll push us up. If we look at the Bitcoin dominance chart real quick, we've been looking at this chart too. We have this resistance line pushing us down, and then we also, if we zoom out, we have this support zone in general right here, the support line that's holding us afloat. So I'm kind of curious, are we going to break to the upside or the downside? We're still kind of testing to the downside more than we are kind of pushing up and testing this upside. So yeah, it looks like we're testing to the downside. I'm kind of curious. I mean, in general, you can tell that there's been some coins that have been pushing up crazy. A lot of altcoins have been getting wrecked pretty good lately, so now they're getting their bounce back, and now kind of Bitcoin's not keeping up with it, which is kind of pushing this chart down, or at least pushing it to these levels right here. I'm kind of curious if we're going to break through and start looking at these levels down here, which are the previous support levels or the previous bottoms back in 2018. So yeah, in general, I'm watching this chart just for a break to the upside or the downside. If we break up, it's going to be Bitcoin dominance. If it's going to break down, then it's going to look like another altcoin season possibly. And we already are kind of seeing a little altcoin season. Some of these altcoins are popping. I think if that total market cap breaks to the upside, if we go, I mean, if we look at that channel pattern that we had in the total crypto market cap, if we break to the upside, that's going to be good for pretty much everything. And a lot of coins are probably going to try to get back to where they were, or a lot of people are going to expect them to go back to where they were, kind of thing, and push them back up there. So yeah, some coins have been getting beaten down worse than others, and in general, I think now they're starting to try to catch up. Let's see what happens on that total crypto market cap, and let's see what happens on this chart. Like I said, if we break down, altcoin season. If we break up, that's Bitcoin season. Okay, so switching back over to Bitcoin, the main thing I'm watching, and we've been watching this for a while, is this previous top right here, this resistance sitting at around 51.8, 51.9K, maybe even 59.7, depending on where you want to put it at. But I'm looking at this level up here. I'm kind of curious if we hit it, and then I'm kind of curious what's going to happen after that. Are we going to have to come down, retest this trend line right here? Like I said, the other thing I'm watching, we're on the 4-hour. We have this support right here, for support right here, and we're trending up. This is the trend line that I'm watching. Until we break this one going to the downside, then I'm assuming that we're still heading up, or at least we're still holding support on it. This line is one of the main things I'm watching, and then this spot right up here. Let me know what you guys think. Alright, if you guys liked the video, hit the thumbs up. If you're new to technical analysis and want to follow along, here's a playlist of how to get started, of reading charts and trading view, a quick rundown of how you can follow along with my videos. Alright, I'll see you guys in the next one.